Welcome to our channel. Today we delve into the dark side of science with the 12 most disturbing genetic experiments in history. Brace yourself for a journey through some of the most unethical and horrifying studies ever conducted. First on our list is the Monster Study, conducted in 1939 by Wendell Johnson at the University of Iowa. 22 orphan children were subjected to psychological manipulation to study stuttering. The negative reinforcement group suffered severe emotional trauma, highlighting the unethical nature of the experiment. In 2008, reality TV took a disturbing turn with the Who's Your Daddy experiment. Adopted adults participated in a public paternity test, raising serious ethical concerns about privacy and exploitation. Next, the Soviet Union's attempt to create a human-chimpanzee hybrid in the 1920s. Biologist Ilya Ivanov's experiments were not only unsuccessful, but also raised profound ethical questions about genetic manipulation. During the 1940s, Sergei Brukhonenko's experiments to revive clinically dead dogs were, well, groundbreaking yet controversial. These experiments paved the way for modern medical advancements, but involved extreme animal suffering. The Nazi regime's horrific genetic experiments on concentration camp prisoners are infamous. Led by Josef Mengele, these studies involved twins and other victims, leading to lasting ethical guidelines in medical research. In the Tuskegee syphilis study, African American men were left untreated for syphilis to study the disease's progression. This caused preventable deaths and severe ethical violations. During World War II, Unit 731 conducted lethal human experiments that involved biological warfare tests on Chinese civilians and POWs. The suffering caused by these tests was, well, unimaginable. Although it wasn't a genetic experiment, the Stanford Prison Experiment, led by Philip Zimbardo, involved severe psychological manipulation of participants in a simulated prison environment. This experiment raised many ethical concerns. At Willowbrook State School, mentally disabled children were intentionally infected with hepatitis to study the disease. This led to significant ethical debates concerning consent and the exploitation of vulnerable populations. During the apartheid era, the Aversion Project forced homosexual soldiers to undergo sex reassignment surgeries and aversion therapy. This represents an extreme abuse of medical practices where individuals were subjected to profound violations of their personal integrity and autonomy. Stanley Milgram's study on obedience is another chilling example of ethical missteps in research. Participants were deceived into believing they were administering electric shocks to others, causing them severe emotional distress. This experiment raises critical questions about the limits of authority and ethical boundaries in psychological experiments. In 2018, a significant controversy erupted when Chinese scientist He Jiankui announced that he had edited human embryos to create genetically modified babies. This sparked a global outrage and ignited a flurry of ethical debates over the boundaries and implications of gene editing technologies. These experiments serve as stark reminders of the importance of ethical standards in scientific research. Subscribe for more insights into the fascinating and sometimes dark world of science.